do without having folks like you attending our event. It's to help us support and so be able to provide another service dog to a veteran. Again, it's a true gift what these service dogs can do. When I go to the training class and I witness these veterans training with these service dogs, the bond that they form, bar none, hands down, it's amazing. When they first come in their program, they may be a little apprehensive about, is this for me? Am I gonna be able to work with this? I'll tell you, 2-3 months after watching these veterans train with their service dog, you couldn't pry that dog away from them. It truly becomes their best friend. It really does. So, Dan Miller, if you'd like to step up for a minute.
When I came back after each deployment, because I was a reservist, I would come home after my second deployment, came home in 2005, and my then wife told me there's something different about you, and I chose to refuse to listen to her. Because like most veterans, we're a proud group of people, male and female, and we can handle everything on our own. We don't need help from anybody. And especially, maybe it's just the Marine Corps, it's what I know, but hey, I can handle it, I don't need help, I'll take care of my own business. I didn't know what post-traumatic stress disorder was. I didn't understand that the things I'd gone through in Iraq, the things I had done, the things I had seen done, and the 16 brothers that I had lost in combat had the effect on me that it did. I didn't get it. And I didn't listen to the person that was closest to me at that time. So I kept pushing. I took off my Marine Corps uniform, I put my police uniform back on, I went back out on the street, and I did my job to the best of my ability. And then things happened at work, bad things. I saw bad things. I dealt with bad things every day, and I didn't express anything. I didn't ask for help. I don't know what to mean, but inside I was crumbling. I was falling apart. But I refused to recognize that. And eventually it got to the point where I fell apart. And I am man enough to admit that I ended up sitting in my car with a gun to my head. And this is a downer, I know it is, but there's a bright side to this. I sat there with a gun to my head in a vehicle because I was done. I wasn't a very good Marine. I couldn't bring all my Marines home. I was tired of being the police because day in and day out I was dealing with everybody else's problems, trying to solve everybody else's problems, trying to make the world right, and it just wasn't working. And then at the same time, my wife divorced me because I wasn't listening to her. So I wasn't a very good husband. So everything came to a screeching halt that day. And by the grace of God, I didn't do what I was wanting to do that night. And there's a lot of different reasons why. Now, on my journey, I meet this gentleman, Mike Pellerino. And the first time I meet him, I'm like, wow, okay, he seems like a decent man. And he's very hardworking, he has a vision, and he has a drive, and he has a dream that is just insatiable. He's not going to stop until he gets what he wants, and that is helping veterans, helping those that are in need. I show up at the training center in Chicago, and I bring another dog, which is my son's dog, which is a Pika pug named Maximus, okay? Ask me later tonight, I'll show you a picture of Maximus. He's about 11 years old. We look exactly alike. All right? And he has an attitude on him like you wouldn't believe, okay? He's 11 years old. He doesn't take anything from anybody anymore. But I got to bring him with because I got to introduce him to this German Shepherd that I've only seen a video of. And Rocky's a rescue. Rocky's been through it already. Rocky's had that hard road. But I don't know Rocky. And Rocky don't know me. Or Max. So we go in the room, here comes Max. Max walks right up to Rocky, looks up, looks him in the face, and walks away. Rocky's like, what's up, man? Okay, cool. Whatever. And he looks at me and comes on over, and I'll tell you something. The minute that dog put his head in my lap and looked at me, I knew it was ride or die. And we've been together ever since. And I still have bad days and good days, but Rocky makes my bad days good. Rocky's there for me constantly. We have trained hard with Kate. Rocky has learned so much, and Rocky's been put out there in so many different situations as I travel for my job. And he has performed at the utmost level every time. And when I'm having a bad day, I can hold him for a minute, and he understands. And he has come over and put his head in my lap, realizing that I'm not having a good moment. One night I was sitting at home and I was crying on the couch. I don't even know why I was crying. Something I thought about, a memory or whatever. And it just hit me and I started to tear up. And he just walked over and put his head in my lap. And I looked down at him and he looked up at me and he made this little, and I knew that he felt what I was feeling and he was there to make sure that I was okay. He's always there to help me. And it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for K9s For Veterans. It wasn't for Michael, it wasn't for Kate and everybody else that works that got me there, that got me to train with Rocky, that has me continually train with Rocky, that allows me to do the things that I can do now, to continue on with my life, to make a difference in other people's lives, which is exactly what K9 does with other veterans. And I've seen it, I've talked to veterans. You're going to meet some of these guys and gals tonight that has changed their world for the better. It is a tool that is doing nothing but benefiting men and women who have worn the cloth of our nation, defended the flag that we hold so dear, and the freedoms that we love so much. I don't know about some of y'all, but I've been in countries where a gathering like this would never happen. Having the freedoms that we have don't exist. And the freedoms that we do have, the reason that we have them are for people, young men and women that are willing to raise their hands and go do what they need to do to make sure that we have the rights that we have. So we owe them when they come back.
Hi, my name is Luis. I'm a Navy veteran. I've been part of the K9s veteran program for about 2 years. This is my right hand, Arlo. He is a 2.5-year-old Belgian now. And to tell you that he has changed my life would be an understatement. As Dan was talking about earlier, in the military you're trained to kind of move on to the next thing. Any pain, any injuries, you shake them off. The one thing they don't tell you about PTSD is that you're not the only one that suffers. Your family suffers right along with you. And it hits different when your own kids tell your wife or your loved one that they can't communicate with their father because they're afraid. When that happens, it tears you up inside. And there's no choice but to make change. And there's only so much the VA can do. Luckily for me, my best friend is my wife, and she went above and beyond to try to find a program for me. And that's what separates K9s from every other dog trainer out there for service dogs. They all say that they're gonna answer that call, but it never comes. You have to sit there on a waiting list. Hopefully in less than 2 years you'll get that dog, but then you have to go through the bonding process. With K9s, you get the dog maybe a couple weeks, but you build that bonding process and you go through the journey as one. I mean, when I first went in, it was the shortest conversation I've ever had. Between Reggie and Michael, they didn't want to hear, how they were doing and those questions. They wanted to know how I was doing. I wanted to make sure I had all my paperwork correct. They told me to be quiet to show up. I did. I showed up and they asked me, hey, what kind of dog are you looking for? I want a small dog, a lab, something mellow. Quite the opposite right here. Whether they were laughing at me or not, but they gave me a challenge. And luckily, you know what? That's the best thing that could have happened to me. This dog forces me to go out and move about. He's bridged that gap for me. Now I'm able to do this. I'm up here talking. I'm able to take my kids to the mall. I feel like myself again. He gets me up. He makes sure that I'm moving. But going back to K9s, they answered that call. And they go way beyond what many here see. Kate won't tell you. Kate has her own family to take care of, but she makes time to answer that phone call for them. Same thing goes for Reggie, Michael, Ken, everybody that's part of this family. They will make time to answer questions for you, no matter if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's what separates K9s from every other program, that they don't treat it as business. This is a family. This is a huge family that keeps on growing. And one of the things is, you sit there through the training, but you're also bonding with the veteran. You're making progress with them, and it becomes your child, your family member that you will do anything for. And he'll do anything for me as well. So, Michael, everybody at K9s, I want to thank you on behalf of all the veterans in the program for everything that you guys do. Thank you very much.
Again, I just can't thank each and every one of you enough for being out here tonight to help support K9. But it's important, if you know a veteran that is struggling out there, let them know that there is help. They don't have to fight that battle alone. There's organizations out there that are willing to step up to the plate to help them. K9 is one of them. We value each and every veteran in our program. To us, we're truly a family in every sense of the word. We're there for each other, and we do whatever we can to help them in any way we can. And thank you for being here tonight. God bless you.